So the past few days, the uploads have been situated around the topic of kind of being overwhelmed with daily tasks and struggling a bit more than I have on the other weeks of the journey, right? And yeah, it's something I've been thinking about quite a lot. You know, complaining about having a job and just overall venting about like my life situation and just the hole that I've dug myself into throughout the 20s, you know, like being like yesterday's upload, being broke, unfit, and not really having like a future career path and everything, right? Kind of just wanted a fresh start. But like doing this journey and realizing what my perfect day was really nice, but it also kind of stung, right? Because it made me realize that my perfect day of like filling life up with different progressive habits like meditating, languages, gym, high value skills like income and stuff, and then just like overall leisure, you know, just walking around, just enjoying some relaxation and just being a bit more relaxed, you know. Even some badder habits, I guess, like just gaming and stuff and going out with friends and all that, just as like a little reward. It's kind of the stuff I've been thinking about lately. Now, the only real reason for the overwhelmment is just because there's a bunch of productive habits in the day now and I have no like free time, right? So it feels like no matter what I do in the day at the moment, because I don't accomplish everything, I don't get a full feeling of like satisfaction. But the reality is everything that I want to do isn't mathematically possible within the time that I have in the day, right? Because, you know, having a job taking 35, 40 hours a week, which I'm doing 7 days at the moment, kind of impacts a lot of free time, believe it or not. But I kind of realized like inventing about these things for the last few days, I've forgotten to get across like a really important point, right? I still have full faith in the journey. Like that's completely unshaken. It's not like I have any doubt. It's not like I'm regretting any of these choices or anything, right? I'm just aware of the fact that like this reparation portion of my life is going to take time, and I don't want to glamorize it by saying like, oh, everything's great right now and like life is perfect, because I still got a few months to go before I can start like genuinely saying that, you know. And as always, I want it to be transparent and showcase all the downward slopes in the journey, like the negative impacts and stuff, just so like it's more relatable at least, and it's more real, you know, because I feel like in doing that, I've been neglecting to mention things like are way better than they were a few months ago, right? For example, I'm seeing definition in my body from the gym. I'm losing weight thanks to eating. I think I weighed in like 183 this morning, so I'm down 8 pounds since I started about 80 days ago. So, you know, it's not too bad. I've learned near like 1,000 kanji from the old RTK book, developing a high income skill to become financially independent. And you know what? The thought of staying up till 6 in the fucking morning, smoking weed and playing games is not even remotely appealing anymore. And that's literally what I was doing like 3-4 months ago. I still get excited when I think about the results that I can obtain in like a few more months, or especially like a year of grinding, right? Like since the 80 days is in my locker now, my brain can actually start to like visualize the trajectory of the path, and that path is looking pretty fucking good, man. I can't lie. So the things I complain about are effectively just like the gruesome state of the grind, which is unavoidable but worth it. I really wanted to mention this today because this is just one of the things that I've learned in one of the books that I've read, that like suffering isn't a bad thing, right? Like, yes, the days can be a struggle. I still feel like trapped at the job sometimes and I still want to quit, obviously. And yeah, now that I've gotten a taste of like my perfect day of just like progressing through multiple aspects of my life, I'm really just craving the opportunity to just sack off all the other responsibilities in my life and just go grinding, right? But that's an end goal. It's not the current goal, right? That's like the end goal for the whole point of the journey, right? Right now, that's not obtainable. But one reason I know that this is going to be worth it in the long run is because for the first time in my life, I think I'm actually choosing what I'm like suffering in. Because the feeling of not achieving enough in the day is just the result of the high bar that I've set for myself for what's acceptable progress, right? And the bar that I set isn't actually currently achievable, but I'm keeping the bar there because striving towards that and being able to achieve it one day is the main motivator I have right now, right? So like the book I was mentioning earlier about the sufferings, Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, right? It was like a, long story short, it's like a prisoner in a Nazi death camp during World War II, right? So I think he's got a pretty good leg to stand on, to be honest with you. And the book was just all about how you can find purpose in your suffering. Now, while I'm not exactly employed at a death camp, the principle remains the same, right? If you are suffering through something which you have chosen yourself, then you can find meaning in it, right? I'm not just complaining for the sake of complaining and just because I'm sick and tired and want some magic pill that will solve all my problems, right? I'm indulging in the suffering because that will let me relay my experiences here on the channel, right? Voice it out and show that even though it's like gruesome sometimes, I know it's the right path, right? There's no question about that. And the reason I bring it up is because I know recently, like, the uploads have been kind of less inspiring, which is kind of by accident. That wasn't my intention at all, though, right? My intention was to show that regardless of the mental energy that I have at the moment, regardless of like the disdain towards my current life situation and whatnot, I'm more motivated than ever to push through here and continue on the path, since I can see like the light at the end of the tunnel, I guess, right? I know it's a very cliche saying, but I don't really know how else to say it. And I know that like all the negative energy that I'm feeling at the moment, like all the suffering, is just completely worth it. So that's why I'm so comfortable with voicing these like negative concerns, because I know that in the long run, like, even though I don't feel great now, that's the whole point of progression, right? Like, think about the gym. You're literally destroying your own cells when you try and get stronger, right? And it's the same thing here. Like, as long as you have a meaning to the suffering, as long as you're not just like suffering for the sake of suffering and just being depressed for no reason, and you're just not really taking any action, then you know that this is something worth pursuing, right? Because before, I wouldn't really choose like my situation in life. I would just do whatever was pleasurable, right? So I would game, I would smoke weed, and then I would work for money, right? They were the choices that I made. And like towards the last few years of that, it was horrible, to be honest, like horrible mentally, and like horrible for like progression towards life, because I was stagnated, right? I wasn't accomplishing anything. I didn't have a grand goal or a purpose. And so instead of choosing my suffering, like life chose the suffering for me, right? I would suffer through the job because I thought I needed money to enjoy playing games and like smoking weed, but I wasn't even enjoying that anyway. So I was just literally suffering for no reason. I was just in like this continuous loop of, you know, seeking pleasure through like instant gratification, gaming, smoking and whatnot, going out and getting drunk, when in reality I wasn't enjoying that either. So it was kind of just like a paradoxical pleasure seeking suffering sphere, I guess. I don't know how to put it, man. I'm not very articulate. So, and that's the whole reason I started the journey in the first place, right? So when I had to deal with things like lack of motivation or burnout, I honestly say, like, bring it the fuck on, right? Like, just give me a challenge. I'll grab burnout by the fucking legs and I'll smack it all over the gaff, bro. I couldn't give a fuck, honestly, because this is what I've chosen. And I've come to terms that's something that I've chosen, and it's something that I want to suffer through, right? So on top of that, these negative emotions are genuinely welcome, because it's like a God-given opportunity to just level up further, right? We're going to be dealing with negative emotions for the rest of our lives, right? And I don't want to try and just escape them anymore like I used to, right? It's time I start building up like resilience towards them, instead of just trying to numb them with like dopamine from like doom scrolling, vaping, smoking weed and playing games, right? It's time to just start fucking meeting them head on and just pushing through them, like pushing through no matter what, basically. And once the 100 days is up, I've already started drafting a plan in my head for like how my summer will look this year, right? I'm going to cut back on some of the daily activities that I have now, so I have more time, and then just pour all my energy into one thing, instead of like galloping over these different progressive routes, and just really fucking lock in on climbing something, right? And I think what I've done at the start of this year has been a good way of finding out what I want to focus on, you know? I've just smothered my days with these productive habits, which I said were non-negotiable, because I believed that that would be every day for the rest of my life. And yeah, while that would be great, I do want my perfect day to be made up of these activities, but I was ignoring the mental burden like a full-time job would have on this daily schedule, and realized that unfortunately the job does need to be treated as an activity, right? So think about it this way, right? My perfect day was waking up, light exercise, studying, working, and then relaxing, right? But currently, that working section of that is 3 things all in one day, which is just way too much to sustain. I've got the daily uploads, I've got the video production or editing as a side project that I'm working on, and then I also have a full-time job. That is 3 jobs to do every single day, as well as all the like daily habits as well. Like, that just can't work. So I'm glad I forced myself to try as many things as possible at the start of this year, because it let me kind of see what I really wanted to pursue, and more importantly, just see what I don't want to pursue, just so I know exactly what to lock in on for the summer. So this has been like a prep phase, I guess you could call it, right? So overall, I just really wanted to make this update so that when I come back here in the future, I know that despite all the challenges that I faced in this grind, like, I never lost sight of the end goal, because I think that's very important for like any aspect of life that you really want to improve. Like, what are you working towards? Why do you want it? And what's wrong with the current situation of your life that is like forcing you to want to change, right? I feel like if you forget these answers, then you start questioning like, what's the point of even doing this in the first place, right? Because sometimes it gets blurry for me as well, right? When you have bad days and stuff, like, you start thinking, what's the point? But luckily I haven't lost sight of those answers. I think the motivation of just being like financially independent for my family, wanting to like study and learn, improve every day, and like eventually get jacked at the gym and have more confidence with myself, like I think without a doubt, I will continue to strive towards those goals like every single day. And as a product of that, I will just naturally achieve the perfect day every day. Like, I'll just start doing that regardless. That's just how it's going to work. So I really wanted to thank you, obviously, for watching, even during the down points of this journey, bro. I do appreciate it. I know it's probably not very fun or inspiring to just listen to me vent about like how shit my job is or whatever, but I just wanted to put it out there because I know that this is temporary, right? And this suffering does have meaning, and I haven't lost sight of the end goal. And I don't want the content to feel like it's just something I'm doing because it's like, oh, I said I had to do it and now I don't want to do it anymore, and oh, fuck me, how many more days of this? It's not like that. It's something I've chosen, something I still have this underlying motivation to finish. It's just not the same motivation as it was in the first few weeks, right? Because motivation fades, right? We all know that. But once motivation fades, still having like the discipline to push through it regardless is a skill that you can genuinely train, and it's something that I think I'm training right now, to be honest with you. So I will see it through. That much is non-negotiable. It's going to be a complete surefire way. This time next year, my life schedule is just going to be completely unrecognizable. And I think everything else will be as well. Like my physical body, my mental health, I think it's all just going to be like 10 out of 10. So also, I just wanted to say it's actually been really nice to make these more authentic kind of videos as well. Like, it's really been helping me out just venting about this stuff and getting out there. It feels like a weight lifted off my shoulder like every time I make these. So yeah, that's what I do. But it's been your boy, Big Old Jimbo, and feeling much more motivated, man. I'll be honest with you. Conquering these negative emotions, like, very liberating, and like, it's a skill I think we all need to improve. So with that being said, get out there and fucking conquer something today, brother. I will see you in the next. Peace.